Welcome back to Project Aviate. Today we're diving into the story of a fighter jet that promised the world but never made it to mass production, the Northrop F-20 Tigershark. Sleek, powerful, and advanced for its time, the F-20 was designed to be the fighter jet every smaller Air Force wanted but didn't know it needed. Yet despite its potential, despite years of development, it failed to win customers and was ultimately abandoned. This is the story of why the Tigershark never roared. As we begin, take a look at this rare image of the F-20 prototype resting on the runway. Its sharp nose, slim fuselage, and modern lines gave it the appearance of a fighter ready to dominate the skies. Unlike its predecessor, the F-5, which was simple and affordable, the Tigershark carried a new level of sophistication. Northrop marketed it as a low-cost, high-performance fighter for U.S. allies who couldn't afford the latest American jets. Now step inside the cockpit. Here we see one of the F-20's strongest selling points. The aircraft featured state-of-the-art avionics for the 1980s with digital displays, a heads-up display, and advanced radar. For a single-engine fighter, this was revolutionary. Pilots who tested the cockpit noted its intuitive design and how much situational awareness it gave them compared to older jets. Northrop wanted the F-20 to be a pilot-friendly aircraft that didn't require years of retraining. Looking here, you can see the F-20 side by side with the older F-5 Tiger II. At first glance, they look related, almost like siblings. But under the skin, the Tigershark was a different beast. It had more powerful engines, better radar, and could carry advanced weapons, including beyond visual range missiles. Northrop essentially tried to take the success of the F-5, which had been exported to dozens of countries, and bring it into the modern era. In this flight test image, the F-20 is banking hard, its afterburner glowing as it cuts across the sky. Test pilots often praised the aircraft for its agility and reliability. It could climb faster than an F-16, accelerate quickly, and had excellent handling. Northrop designed it to be combat-ready almost immediately after takeoff, which meant it could intercept threats faster than most fighters of the time. But as impressive as the plane was, politics would ultimately be its undoing. Here we see U.S. Air Force generals inspecting the F-20 on display. Despite its potential, the Air Force showed little interest. Why? Because the U.S. was already backing the F-16 Fighting Falcon. Washington didn't want two competing American aircraft on the market, and it was far more profitable to push the F-16, which was becoming the backbone of NATO air forces. Northrop, however, marketed the F-20 aggressively, even creating glossy brochures and promotional videos like the one we imagine here, showcasing the aircraft as the affordable alternative to the F-16. The pitch was simple. For half the price of an F-16, you could get a jet with comparable performance and lower operating costs. Smaller nations without big defense budgets seemed like the perfect customers. But tragedy struck. Here we see the aftermath of one of the F-20 prototype crashes. In two separate incidents, test pilots lost their lives while demonstrating the aircraft. Though investigations later revealed pilot disorientation rather than design flaws, the accidents damaged the program's reputation. In the competitive fighter jet market, perception can be everything, and the F-20 now looked riskier than its rivals. Meanwhile, the F-16 Fighting Falcon, seen here in a dramatic flight shot, was thriving. It had the full backing of the U.S. government, NATO partners, and Lockheed Martin's powerful marketing machine. Countries that might have considered the F-20 were pressured to buy the F-16 instead, ensuring interoperability with American and allied forces. The political reality was that no matter how good the Tigershark was, it didn't have the support it needed. At international arms expos like this one, Northrop displayed the F-20 alongside scale models and simulators, hoping to entice foreign buyers. There was interest from countries like Taiwan, South Korea, and Saudi Arabia, but none placed firm orders. The U.S. State Department often blocked sales for political reasons, while allies preferred aircraft backed by Washington's military aid programs. Another selling point Northrop emphasized was the ease of pilot transition. As seen in this simulator shot, pilots could adapt to the F-20 in just a few weeks, especially if they had flown the F-5. This was a big advantage over the more complex F-16, which required longer training. Northrop believed that simplicity and cost-effectiveness would win deals, but the global arms market proved otherwise. Looking at this comparison chart illustration, the F-20's specifications stacked up impressively. Faster climb rate, modern radar, lower costs, easy maintenance, it checked many boxes. Yet in the world of defense contracts, performance on paper isn't enough. Politics, alliances, and defense aid packages often decide the winner, not just the aircraft itself. In this breathtaking image of the F-20 flying over the desert at low altitude, you can see what could have been. The aircraft looked every bit the part of a frontline fighter, and in many ways it was. Test pilots consistently praised its reliability, noting that it required less maintenance than other fighters of its class. This made it ideal for smaller air forces with limited budgets. But instead of seeing mass production, the F-20 slowly faded. Imagine this haunting image of an abandoned prototype sitting in a dark hangar, dust gathering on its fuselage. Only a few were ever built, and today they exist mostly as museum pieces or forgotten relics of what might have been. Northrop even released artist concepts of the F-20 in combat, as shown here in a dramatic dogfight scene with MiG-21s. It was supposed to be a jet that could defend smaller nations against modern threats. In many ways, the concept made sense, but without customers, the vision never materialized. And so we close with this dramatic farewell image, the silhouette of the F-20 Tigershark at sunset representing its lost potential. The aircraft had everything going for it: speed, agility, modern systems, affordability, and ease of use. But it lacked the one thing it needed most: political support. In the end, the F-20 wasn't defeated by its rivals in the skies, but by the realities of defense politics and international arms sales. The story of the Tigershark is a reminder that in aviation, being the best machine isn't always enough. Sometimes, it's not about performance but about timing, politics, and strategy. The F-20 Tigershark could have been one of the most widely used fighters of its generation, but instead it became one of the greatest what-ifs in aviation history. Thank you for watching Project Aviate. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the story of the F-20 Tigershark, don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more stories about the aircraft that shaped our skies.